Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have ourselves a 2v2. That's right, a 2v2 on Moscow Outskirts. Our heroes today are going to be SturmTigerNeff. Let's actually open this up and see them for now. SturmTigerNeff, playing for the Germans. And his ally today is going to be BajMic, or BajMic? BajMic. Well, let's just call him a BajMic. He's going to be playing again for the Germans, allied with SturmTigerNeff. His opponents today, or their opponents, are going to be SimFac1, playing for the Soviets, on the red. And his ally in the pink or purple, whatever your preference is MJM 1987. So yeah, let's go ahead and close this up. You can see that nobody has actually selected their doctrine up until this point. We'll talk about that in a little bit. You can still see him down there with the overlay, so just keep an eye on that and we'll be fine. So let's take a look at the build orders. Nothing happening so far right now as far as, engagements, just capturing map. So we see that SturmTigerNeff went for his tier 1, like you would expect most German players to go. Gets himself a Grenadier squad and then 2 MG42s. Actually, I started out with the MG42? No. He MG42 second, building second MG42 third, so there you go. His ally, we see, only got Pios. He did not build anything, and went straight for a fuel cache. That is a very interesting opening. Very interesting indeed. Small engagement here in the center. 2 Pios against a conscript squad. The Pios can actually win this if they close the distance very quickly. They are in light cover and the conscripts are taking a beating, but with the second conscript squad moving in for support here for SimFac, those Pios are going to lose that fight. They did do a decent amount of damage to this conscript squad. You can see them now down to 3 men, but yeah, with 2 conscript squads on top of it, that Pio is in a lot of trouble. Actually needs to retreat. There it goes, down to 2 men. We'll make it out alive just fine. MG42 for SturmTigerNeff just setting up and covering the approach, so he should be fine. Although this conscript squad is in a position to flank it. For the Soviet players, we see that SimFac went for tier 2 and got himself 2 conscript squads and opened up with a mortar. Not a bad choice considering that MG42s are on the field. And we see that, forget his name, MJM went for tier 1 and actually opened up with snipers. He has 2 snipers on the field, one of them taking quite a beating, down to 1 man. I think he's actually going to die. Can he make it out? Taking some shots, retreating, second sniper covering it. Takes a shot at the Grenadier and barely makes it out. A lucky move there for MJM. Could have actually lost his squad very easily. But yeah, opening up with 2 snipers. So, yeah, interesting choice. Left-hand side over here on the fuel cache from BajMic, we have conscripts trying to take it down. They already have it at about 30% health. We see the mortar taking some shots here and actually killing its own friendlies. That is one horrible mortar. 5 friendly kills so far for that Soviet mortar. That is probably the worst mortar known to man. Ends up having to retreat the squad there at 1 man, and the other squad is in the firing arc, but it looks like the shots are a little bit more accurate now. And boom, there goes, direct shot, and down goes that fuel cache, and the point will be taken. Center map, MG42 still just holding on. Grenadiers running into the snipers once again. Sniper once again losing its spotter. So the snipers for MJM are not being, how should we say this? They're not being taken care of very well. They are a little bit sloppy, and they just end up getting their spotters killed quite frequently. MG42 now opening up on the sniper, takes down the spotter once again. The other guy crawls out of the arc of fire. Luckily for that sniper, he is cloaked due to the cover, and will manage to make it out alive. So yeah, I mean, these snipers are very, very barely staying alive. Far left-hand side, we see Pios and Panzer Grenadier, so it looks like BajMic went for tier 2 and got himself a half-track as well. So yeah, I mean, Pios straight into a Panzer Grenadier squad. A little bit of a weak early game there, but he now has a very strong force. There are 2 snipers, however, on the field, so as long as he's focusing on fighting the red player, SimFac, he should be fine. Shock troops, however, are now on the field for SimFac. They're going straight at those Panzer Grenadiers. The Panzer Grenadiers, I believe, actually end up losing that fight on a, 1-to-1. But with the support of the half-track, these shock troops should actually lose this fight very easily. Now, the Panzer Grenadiers do lose one of their men. They push forward. Half-Track is pushing the shock troops out of their heavy cover. They are now out in the open, and the Panzer Grenadiers get reinforced. Pioneers move into support. They're also going to get reinforced from the half-track, and the shock troops will lose the fight. However, they will inflict quite a decent amount of damage. Down to 5 man, forced to retreat, deciding not to take any additional damage. It's a very nice move there by Simfac. Also, obviously mentioning, we have some doctrine selections for the Soviet players. We have Simfac going for the shock rifle frontline tactics. That's why you saw the shock rifles. Probably see some heavy tanks later on, and MJM goes for Soviet industry tactics, so we're probably going to be seeing a lot of T-34s coming out here, or T-70s, and it looks like the first T-70 is now on the field, so yeah, that is actually going to be very painful for the German players. They have nothing right now to combat that. There is a Tier 2 with a scout car coming up that with an autocannon could potentially deal damage to the T-70s, but it's still outclassed in that sense. And we have SturmTigerNeff not actually teching up to anything else just yet, so that T-70 is going to make quite an impact. Center map, we hear some more engagements. The Panzer Grenadiers pushing forward, and we see a doctrine selection for SturmTigerNeff, and that is the Luftwaffe supply doctrine, and calling in a airdrop supply somewhere. Oh, right here in the center. Oh, okay. That is a very risky type of doctrine in this situation. Well, not situation, but in this map, because the doctrine, this ability can only be used in fuel or munitions points. So these guys are right in the center, so it's, you know, kind of risky to the point where you could lose that, but we'll see. Anyways, far right hand side, we see the T-70 wreaking havoc. This MG-42 goes down to the snipers. Snipers are down to 1 man each once again, so again, very risky control of these snipers, but that T-70 now has free roam. There are a couple of units around, but nothing much. And we see the Panzer Grenadiers pushing into the center, the Grenadiers forced to retreat, and the mortar there for support. And this is what I'm talking about. The Luftwaffe was used right here, and we have medical supplies out in the field that can get picked up by anybody. And these combat engineers are actually there, and they could pick it up. Not that bad of a thing considering that it's only medical supplies, but wait, actually, hold on, I'm sorry. The supply drop zone, that can only be in munition and fuel point. It looks like this actually can be dropped anywhere. Paradrop medical supplies at a target area, heals and inspires nearby infantry and weapons teams when picked up. So yeah, that actually looks like it can be dropped anywhere, and the Panzer Grenadiers go for it. They actually get emboldened, and that gives them inspired to fight. Not exactly sure what the buff does exactly, but well, they're inspired. So anyways, T-34 now on the field for MJM. His Soviet industry is kicking in very easily, so that's why he actually went for the Tier 1 snipers, but they're actually going to get killed by the... No, never mind, those are... Okay, they're allies. Scout car and half-track moving over on the right-hand side. Scout car does have that autocannon, so that does actually do damage to the T-70, but it will actually die to the T-70. Panzer Grenadiers popping out. If Shreks pop on this Panzer Grenadier squad, that T-70 is in quite a bit of trouble. The scout car moves in for support and will be able to shoot at the T-70. Gonna go for the rear armor, and there it goes. You can see there that it does actually do damage to the T-70, but it's not, you know, a lot of damage. T-34 decides to put an end to that, however, takes a shot and down goes the scout car, so a lot of trouble. Half-track running around, actually going for, well, I think it's actually trying to stay alive, but it might actually catch the snipers on a drive-by. But it looks like BajMic is just worried about getting his half-track out of there, so the snipers will make it out alive this time. Very lucky there. Another T-34 coming onto the field instantly. And we see a supply drop over here on this left-hand side. However, the conscripts are the one picking it up. What the hell's going on here? Well, that was a whiff and a half. Not entirely sure what SturmTigerNeff was thinking about here. He sends over a supply drop onto this fuel point, but there are conscripts there in the zone, and they're actually the ones just picking up the fuel supplies for Simfac. So yeah, I mean, he now has 215 fuel that he can use. Yep. T-70s, T-34s moving over to the left-hand side, just clearing the German bunkers that BajMic decided to put. And the snipers are coming out once again. Center map, we have BajMic with his Panzer Grenadiers pushing forward. He is still at only Well, actually, no. He does have 2 Panzer Grenadier squads. Snipers, however, open up on the squad and bring it down to 2 men, very low in health, forcing the retreat. And that MG42 has been stolen by Simfac and is now being used against the Germans. So the Soviet industry tanks are now running wild, running rampant. We do have a Tier 3 coming down for SturmTigerNeff. He seems to have... No, actually did get Tier 2 as well. I'm not entirely sure why. He doesn't have anything for Tier 2, but I suppose he could utilize pack guns. But he gets himself a Stug to be able to, well, essentially keep those tanks at bay in a sense. His ally only has Tier 2 so far, so nothing is going to be coming out of that except pack guns. He does have a lot of Panzer Grenadier squads, however, none of them actually have Shreks, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. Machine gun equipped on the SturmTigerNeff and the T-70s and T-34s and T-70 singular. Moving over on the right-hand side, just clearing out the map. Center map, we did have a bunker around here early on, but it's already down. And the snipers push forward, taking some shots at the Grenadiers, and are forced to, well, not retreat, actually. They sprint out of the way, so MGN upping his game in the micro-control of his snipers. Takes a shot at the Grenadiers, and very nicely placed mine there on the way, trying to bait those Grenadiers there. Nice rifle nade goes down, hits near the mine, but that Grenadier runs into the mine, gets himself killed, down to 2 men. Snipers open up. Second sniper is over on the right-hand side, so the Grenadier squad will make it out alive. And the T-70s run over them, but they are actually on retreat, so they stay alive. T-70 takes a shot, but misses, and the Stug is being a little bit aggressive against these tanks. This T-70 is very low in health. And surprisingly enough, MJM does not have additional tanks. I mean, he does have the resources for it. Right there. 130. He could get himself another T-34 if he wanted to, but he is deciding not to do that, so whatever. Never mind, he does. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like, wait, he has the resources. Usually you just bump out tanks with Soviet industry, and he does, so now he has 3 T-34s and a T-70. Another reconnaissance overflight from the Luftwaffe. And the Stug is just in the center supporting. There's a lot of mines laid down by Simfac. He's just laying them down all over the place. Very aggressive. Half-track goes down for BajMic, and the conscripts throwing Molotovs where nobody is. Mortar getting cleared out by the Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers just cleaning out the infantry here with their Sturmgewehrs. Those conscripts are down to 3 men, down to 2, down to 1. Try to retreat, but they're going to die. They are dead, 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 dead. And the MG42 is going to turn around to try to stop the onslaught of the Panzer Grenadiers. The AT gun is right there. The Panzer Grenadiers split up. They're going to get a kill on the combat engineer. The MG42 going to go down. Panzer Grenadiers actually hit a mine, but they continue to push. Another mine gets hit by the Panzer Grenadiers, down to 2 men on each, but they do clear out that MG42. A very nice maneuver here by BajMic. He actually ends up clearing out a lot of the forces from the red player, forgot his name, Simfac. There you go. He is now down to only 2 AT guns and a shock troop squad. Everything else got annihilated. However, the major force, the major threat, MJM, is still on the field with his roaming armada here of tanks. 3 T-34s and a T-70. That Pioneer squad gets annihilated very quickly. And the snipers are up in the north just running around. Stug still on the field. Took a little bit of a beating. Not a beating, really. Took a shot at most. Down to about 90% health. But, well, all it can really do at this point is stop these tanks from strolling into the German base. MG42 for BajMic just trying to hold the line, but it's now being assaulted by 4 tanks. That house is going to take quite a beating. The MG42 pops out the rear. Gonna run. It's gonna run straight through the tanks, unfortunately. It's gonna get itself killed. Could have vaulted over the fence and then run, but, well, sometimes you just want to retreat as quickly as you can. We see SturmTigerNeff pushing over to the right-hand side. Gonna try to see if he can make a dent into the territory of the Soviets, but the Soviets now have 5 tanks on the field from the Soviet industry. That is 4 T-34s with a T-70 that is now at full strength. We see that Simfac has generated another shock troop just to replace his troops. Not really being able to do much. He has 390 fuel, And I don't understand why he doesn't actually try to go for something with the fuel, but, well, he doesn't have a lot of manpower, so I suppose that's why. But, I mean, with that amount of fuel, he could secure the victory for the Germans just by simply going straight for tier 4 and starting to pump out maybe Su-85s or something like that. Hell, even Katyushas just to start bombarding. Yeah, I mean, Katyushas would probably work if you don't want to have tanks. But, well, he's not doing that, so at least that gives the German players a little bit of a break. However, here comes all the tanks. Those are a lot of tanks moving down on the on the Germans. They do have a pack gun and a Stug, but that is only 2 guns against 5 tanks. Grenadier Squad retreating. Faust going off on one T-34. Grenadier Squad again retreating. Both of them veteran C2. No defensive buffs at veteran C2, remember. The Stug pushes forward, goes very bold. Takes a shot at one of the T-34s, then backs off. Gonna keep on backing off. Keep backing off. No, that Stug is gonna get killed. Keeps backing off. A nice shot goes off by the pack, and a Faust goes off on that T-34. T-34 down and gonna be taken out. Another one goes out of control. Very nice here. The choke essentially is working very well in SturmTigerNeff's favor. However, there is an incendiary barrage falling down on top of the AT gun. Actually nails that Grenadier as it runs. Pack gun goes down. However, the T-34s did take quite a beating. The T-70 is still alive. Takes a shot from the Stug. The Stug is going to be able to kill it. We also have a Stug from BajMic now on the field helping out in the fight. Takes down that T-70, and the T-34 gonna be losing its main gun to these Shreks. The Shreks retreat. Down goes the T-34, and the Armada is now down to 2 tanks. One of them just being called in. The Stug over here taking quite a beating, down to about 10% health maybe. The other Stug continues to push the advantage. The T-34 trying to run away. It's a very healthy T-34, and there's a second one coming in for support. But yeah, I think the fact that his ally is sitting at 500 almost, well, 460 fuel, that being Simfac, I think that that is going to allow the Germans to come back here. Stug decides to break off the pursuit. T-34 makes it out of there. The second T-34 makes itself known, so the Stug is going to move in to engage it. And SturmTigerNeff Stug is actually almost veteran C2, having killed 2 vehicles and inflicting a lot of damage. Stug, however, over here for BajMic does run into a mine, gets itself disabled, and that T-34 will end up killing it, which is unfortunate. Panzer IV on the field. Ooh, these Panzer Grenadiers getting crushed. There they go, they retreat. The other Panzer Grenadiers also getting sniped, forced to retreat. Panzer IV on the field for SturmTigerNeff, so he at least is able to hold that position. Another Stug on the field for BajMic, so they still have 2 Stugs to combat against 3 T-34s. T-34 is now making a front here. And yeah, I mean, BajMic over here, no, not BajMic, Simfac over here is just producing a lot more infantry. He does have 2 AT guns, 2 shock troops, another mortar. I believe this is a stolen MG, probably not a Maxim. Where is it actually? Somewhere around here? Back here? No. Over here? No. Here. No. Here. There it is. Yeah, that's the MG42. Stolen MG42. And he has a mortar that probably picked up the same one. He probably didn't remake it. Yeah, he just picked up the same one he had. But yeah, I mean, he has 700 manpower and 500 fuel. If you can't build armor or tanks with that, I don't know what else you need. So yeah, unfortunate here because MGM is doing a superb job. His doctrine is obviously a major factor in being able to do this, but I mean, he's putting up quite a fight. Down goes one T-34 to a nice combined barrage here from the Stugs and the Shreks. The Stug for SturmTigerNeff actually getting veteran C2. At veteran C2, it receives armored skirts as well as improved rate of fire. Now, obviously, saying that it gets armored skirts doesn't actually say anything, but it's, you know, telling you that it gets a defensive buff. I don't know if that's armor or health. Let me double check that for you, because I know how much you like getting that information. The Stug 3 gets 30% armor at veteran C2s, same as the Panzer IV and the Panther, so they all do the same, but yeah, that's what the skirts represent, 30% armor. And they also reduce their reload by 30%, so they're essentially going to be able to shoot faster. T-34s moving in unison over to the right-hand side. There is the Panzer IV here. The Panzer IV will be able to maneuver against these T-34s a little bit better. Takes a shot here. We have a pack on the field, taking some shots at the T-34s. T-34 is now very damaged, and we still have no tech for the 1,000 manpower and 560 fuel ally of MJM, Mr. Simfac, which is quite unfortunate. What is that actually? That is a reconnaissance? No, that is a strafing run. Strafing run called in by BajMic. Where's it actually going to be going to? Somewhere around here. Going for the mortar. Mortar down to about 1 health. And another T-34 lost to the Stugs. The Stug continues to push forward. A lot of mines here in the center. Need to be very careful. A mine. Oh, BajMic loses his combat engineers. Mine super on that would have been quite excellent. A lot of mines all over the place. Look at that. T-30. Mines. Very nice. And that strafing run is coming in for another pass. And it shoots at the MG42. But that's about it. Far right hand side, we see the tanks moving forward. We still have a pack gun over here that got cleared out, plus the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV should be able to deal with this lead T-34 very easily. There it goes, destroys its engine, takes a nasty volley there by the T-34s, and ends up taking quite a bit of damage. So that allows that T-34 to stay alive. However, there is a Stug on the field that does have a damaged engine. Shrek's moving up by the Panzer Grenadiers, clear out that damaged T-34, and the T-34s are just trying to clear out the troops on this victory point. Panzer IV down to less than half health, forced to retreat, and the Stug is still in the center, trying to hold the line. Grenadiers and Pyos being produced, and at some point one of the snipers actually died for MJM. Stug ends up going down to a IS-2. So Simfac finally utilizing his doctrine and his fuel, decides to go for an IS-2. About time. Could have produced one a long time ago. So I mean, yeah, you don't need to get a lot with your doctrine. I mean, buildings if you have your doctrine, but use them considering the amount of resources. But I guess that's fine, whatever. So Panzer Grenadiers pushing on the shock troops. Nice bundle nade goes down, but the shock troops actually absorb that without really much damage happening. Only one of them dies, and they force a retreat on the Panzer Grenadier squad. One of the Panzer Grenadier squad actually got annihilated by the IS-2. Look at them right there. So the IS-2 is just moving around. Stugs getting produced, or another Stug getting produced for SturmTigerNeff. We see that BajMic has lost his Stugs and only has Opel Blitz trucks on the field. And a reconnaissance overflight, just looking at whatever it can. Stug over here in the north, going up against the sniper. The sniper's just holding the line there and retreats. The T-34 is getting the surprise here on that Stug. The Stug absorbing the hits with its armored skirts. We see the Panzer IV moving in to support the Stug, taking some shots. The Stug continues to try to keep its armor facing, its gun facing the T-34s. One of the T-34s manages to get behind it. The T-34 in front of the Stug is actually going to be going down. That Stug manages to actually get away and is now focusing on the other T-34 that's chasing it down. Not managing to take a shot. There it goes. Finally takes a shot at that T-34. T-34 absorbing that without much of a problem. Now backing off. T-34 up in the north, now in a corner. Going to try to take down that Opel Blitz, but it goes down out of control. And the T-34 over here gets destroyed with both Stugs on top of it. And this Stug is going to stay alive. Veteran Stug. Very nice. So no more armor left on the field for the Soviet forces. We have a repair station right here in the center. We do have a IS-2, however. The IS-2, well, it is an armor, so we haven't lost, or they haven't lost completely. However, they only have one tank left. MJM does have enough to produce more tanks, however, so he will be able to do that. Stugs taking some shot at the IS-2. The IS-2 has a very nice shot. Oh, the wow, that's weird. Look at that. So the Stug actually died, and it got abandoned. So SturmTigerNeff picks it up immediately, but the Stug retained its armored skirts. I wonder if that's just a graphical glitch, or it actually has the armor. Interesting. I would assume it's just graphical. It's just a model, but who knows. IS-2 gets taken down by the Stugs, goes out of control, and a nice victory here for the German forces. They retreat their troops to lick their wounds. The snipers on the field, Stugs pushing forward. Sniper now caught out of position, takes some shots. Grenadiers, if they would to stop, they might be able to kill that guy. No, They get out of there scot-free. And on the far left-hand side, we have shock troops just going for capping spots whenever it can. So the Soviet force is not in the best of position. We do see a KV-8 getting produced for MJM. The KV-8 is actually part of the doctrine. I actually wasn't aware of that. But it runs into a Stug, also runs over a mine, it looks like. Although that was a friendly mine. Gets its engine damaged, down to about half health. The Stug just bounces off the shots, and the KV-8 will have to retreat. I mean, it could simply just turn its gun. Yeah, it does. There we go. Turns its gun, it's shooting back at the Stug, not being able to do much because it's a weak gun, but at least it's doing something. MG-42 is just dropped all over the world. Panzer Grenadiers just sitting there. And we have a strafing run called in by BajMic. Grenade going down by the shock troops, and this is actually shooting up here on the shock troops up in the north. Snipers push forward, taking some shots at the Panzer Grenadiers, down to one man, forced to retreat. And yeah. KV-8 finally goes down to the Stug. The Stug up in the north did get repaired. Again, it does have those armored skirts, but probably does not have the armor value. You know, it's number stats. It's just a graphical show. But at least you know that the veteran tank lives on. The crew got killed, but the tank was salvaged. Ore mines getting laid down all over the place by Simfac. And victory point-wise, we have 317 for the German forces and 315 for the Soviets. So a more even match you probably couldn't find. Unit-wise, well, a lot of Opel Blitzes on the field for BajMic. He does have himself another Stug just to have an armor on the field. And Snipers just hiding all over the place, trying to cap points. Stug trying to crush the Snipers if it can. It does reveal them right in front of them. Takes a shot. Snipers forced to retreat. And there they go. IS-2 now back on the field for Simfac, but he is sending it a little bit too forward. I feel this might be a little bit too bold. Needs to at least just be supporting or have the support of the T-34s to be able to deal with these Stugs. Veteran Stug or Hero Stug taking the shot on the side skirt armor and getting down to about half health from that IS-2. IS-2 pushes forward, Stug takes another shot. Both of them now down to about half health. BajMic Stug is taking some shots at the IS-2, but the IS-2 can just sit there and tank that very easily. Panzer IV moves forward, takes a shot in the face, down to about 30% health. I mean, takes about 30% health. And the AT gun, and well, this is not good for SturmTigerNeff. His Panzer IV will be going down here. AT gun takes a shot and misses. Actually, well, Panzer IV will make it out alive. Stug, veteran C2, having killed one vehicle. Oh, that looks like it's the other one. Okay, never mind. I thought this was the original one. Takes a nasty shot there by the IS-2, down to a sliver of health. IS-2 will finish it off in one more shot. It crashes onto a building, stops its forward momentum, but it takes a last shot. It actually destroys the gun on the IS-2. The IS-2 backs off and the Panzer IV annihilates it. Very nice here, very lucky for SturmTigerNeff. So his Hero Stug remains alive. His Panzer IV still on the field, getting veteran C2 and those sexy armored skirts. And yeah, shock troops moving in droves. That's a blob of shock troops supported by snipers. MG-42 on the field trying to stop them as they approach. Half track on the field. Panzer Grenadiers pushing forward, but with the support of the snipers, they're going to take quite a beating. MG-42 going to be going down to the onslaught here. They're not even going to try the half track. The Panzer Grenadiers jump into the half track, and they're actually going to go for the snipers, it looks like. Very nice move here by BajMic. The snipers are going to try to retreat. They are going to lose their snipers here, I believe. The Panzer Grenadiers pop out, take a shot. One of the snipers goes down. The second sniper down to a sliver of health. It goes down. Never mind. It looks like he was going to be able to get away. The half-track does go down. The Panzer Grenadiers are going to have to retreat. But they did inflict a massive amount of damage. We do have T-34s on the field for MJN. There's still 2 of them on the field. However, with a Stug and help from the Panzer Grenadiers, these T-34s are going down. Stug on the field for BajMic, taking some shots at this T-34. T-34 with a damaged engine. The Stug continues to shoot it at range. However, there's a second T-34 moving up on that Stug. The Stug is now going to back off and allow it to live. Panzer IV over here on the right-hand side, almost fully repaired. The Stugs retreat all the way to the corner of the map, awaiting some repairs. And we still have that repair thing on the field, so the T-34 just backs off for MJM, and is going to start getting some repairs. Those are 4 repair guys at the same time, so very nice. Another strafing run called in by BajMic. Not exactly sure where it was called. Looks like somewhere around here, but not actually doing anything. Not that I can see, at least. Might have cleared out these guys. Yeah, it looks like it might have actually cleared out the repair guys. And yeah. Panzer Grenadiers going for the center point. No more snipers on the field for MJM, so all he has now is his tanks, which are currently getting repaired. The second one moving over to the far right-hand side. Can't actually cap points by itself, and the Panzer IV notices it because it's right next to the point and it's going to go on the hunt. Takes a shot and misses. The T-34 going straight at it, but the Panzer IV closes the distance, removing the ability to use the ram, and now it backs off, taking both of them shots at the frontal, at the rear armor. However, with its increased armor, the Panzer IV really has nothing to fear about it. The T-34 has not actually managed to get a penetrating shot here. We have combat engineers moving up to support. One shot finally goes through on that Panzer IV, bringing in about 10% damage, but Panzer IV annihilates that T-34 and is now going to go straight for those combat engineers. The combat engineers are even going to get crushed if they don't move out of the way. T-34 is moving in to try to annihilate that Panzer IV, might be able to do so. The Panzer IV hits Blitzkrieg and gets the hell out of there, runs over the carcass of one of the T-34s, and moves back to the support of his Stugs. The Stugs are currently getting repaired. They're not back to full strength, but they do have weapons, they do have guns, and they are able to shoot back if the T-34s get too bold. Panzer Grenadiers capturing center map. We have more pack guns and MG-42s pushing forward. Victory points, 270 for the Germans, 298 for the Soviets. So again, very even here. Might be anybody's game. Another IS-2 on the field for Simfac. And yeah. So 2 T-34s and a IS-2 against 4 Stugs and a Panzer IV. So BajMic actually getting himself 2 Stugs. Stugs have been proven very useful in this matchup. And yeah, I mean, they got a bad rap early on in the game. Not in this game, you know, early on in the early stages of CoH2, but yeah, I mean, players have found uses for them, and they are, you know, they're okay. They have pretty much the same damage as a Panzer IV, but they have greater range, which makes them an excellent support weapon. They're not as great against infantry, unfortunately, so you really only want them against tanks. But yeah, I mean, the Panzer IV and a Stug combo is quite potent. Actually stronger against vehicles than 2 Panzer IVs. So the artillery gun, or the AT gun, just taking an artillery barrage at where nobody was. It did end up annihilating the other pack gun, but it's fine. Stugs moving over to cut off the T-34s. The T-34s are trying to run away. One of the T-34s loses its main gun. It's going to have to get out of there, but it backs off straight into the range of the of the Stugs. Stug now focusing on the other. This T-34 still capable of going for the ram. However, MJM decides that that is not what he wants to do. Loses both of them, unfortunately, and yeah. IS-2 now moving in to fight against the Stugs. The Stugs do have veteran C2 now, so both of them have their armor skirts, activated, and the Panzer IV as well. So these are the best equipped tanks in the area that will be able to fight against this IS-2. IS-2 taking quite a beating. This Stug absorbing all the damage down to about half health. IS-2 now getting flanked by the Panzer IV, going to take shots at the rear armor. Yeah, that IS-2 is dead. Shots penetrating on the frontal armor. The Panzer IV did hit a mine, but it manages to clear out that IS-2, and no more armor on the field for the Soviets. We do have a half-track and a scout car on the field for MJM, but that is probably all she wrote. He does not have enough fuel to produce another T-34 here, and the German armor is now, getting critical mass. We have 3 Stugs on the field for BajMic, and we have 2 Stugs plus a Panzer IV on the field for SturmTigerNeff. All that against, well, nothing. Just 1 AT gun that the Allies currently have. They are producing another one, but that is about it. Half-track dying over here? Yeah. Supply drop called in by SturmTigerNeff. He's just going to get himself some munitions and some fuel drops and all that. So, very nice. And, yeah.
Standing by.
So at this point, I don't really see what the Soviets can do. The AT guns will potentially allow them to hold one victory point at most. They're currently focusing on the center one for some reason. But yeah, I mean, they have nothing to combat all these German vehicles. Scout car is being used to harass. There is a conscript squad around here that could get in there and be used to cap a little bit quicker. Combat engineers running into the Stugs. They are doing a little bit of damage to the Panzer Grenadiers, but the Stugs are trying to crush them. We also see a reconnaissance overflight around the area. Seeing all the shock troops here for Simfac on the left-hand side. He does move his AT guns over to his left-hand side, so it looks like that might be the sector he's going to try to defend. But yeah. No more infantry on the field pretty much for MJM. He does have one conscript squad that retreated. He produces yet another half-track to try to shoot down these planes, it looks like. That's about it. And the Stugs just push on forward. We have a half-track also on the field for SturmTigerNeff. Looks like he wants to have some type of... And he also calls in an incendiary bombing run somewhere. No, well, doesn't actually matter at this point. The Soviet forces decide that, yeah, at this point we really can't do much, so GG. And yeah, very nice. Those Stugs proved quite useful, and unfortunately for MJM, Simfac, I believe, wasn't really pulling his own weight. He floated too many resources, and I believe he could have had an IS-2 out a lot earlier. A lot earlier than when it came out, I believe, but I may be wrong. But whatever. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.